Francine, now a tropical depression, moving its way north through Mississippi, but spreading some heavy rains while it does so. And where there's going to be a flood threat shifting eastward as we head into the next couple of days. Also going to be turning our attention to the southeast coast as something's going to try to develop late this weekend and early next week. And that might not be the only threat. We're going to talk about multiple threats possibly coming down the pike. As well as we're going to take a look at the overall weather pattern and see if we can spot some changes coming into this pattern as we head into next month. But first, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that and help this channel to grow. So right now we're going to jump right into the GFS. The GFS, you can see low pressure here in central Mississippi. So that is what was Hurricane Francine, came ashore last night as a Category 2. So the forecast that we had put out there actually went pretty well. We've been calling for a Category 2 at landfall since, I think since last week we first called that. So it was close. It was close. Wasn't sure if it was going to pop into that 2 category before landfall, but it ended up doing so right before landfall late yesterday. But now spreading northward, or I should say headed northward, bringing some heavy rains with it. And as we head into the next couple of days, so that's going to continue to move north and really kind of stall out. And then there's going to be a boundary shifting eastward, and this is now overnight Friday. You can see a swath of some heavy rainfall over Alabama and then into Georgia, spreading northwestward into Tennessee, maybe even to parts of extreme southwestern Kentucky and maybe southern Illinois. Going to be some heavy rainfalls, localized heavy rainfall, so there could be some areas of flash flooding. And then as we head into Sunday, we see an area of low pressure develop off the southeast coast. So this is our next system to watch. The way the weather pattern is setting up, anything that pops is going to want to head inland or cut towards the southeast coast. So as we put this into motion now going into Monday, we see that start to strengthen and then move in somewhere along the North Carolina, South Carolina coast. And this is Monday night now, late Monday night. This is 8 p.m. And then starts to cut it northwest into inland into North Carolina. So looks like a confined area of heavy rain, and then a larger area to its north of some light to moderate rainfall. So there could be some locally heavy rainfall with this. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some flash flooding. The jury is still out on this system. Not all the models are showing it really develop into something, but the GFS certainly is. We've seen the European develop it, as well as the European AI, which did a really good job with Francine. So I'm pretty confident we're going to see something going, something developing. Whether or not it develops into something tropical or subtropical remains to be seen. But it could be some strong gusty winds, nothing like Francine, but the GFS is indicating 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts, even a little bit higher. I think the last GFS I saw was trying to put out some 50 mile per hour gusts, which might be a little too high, but we'll see. We'll see if this thing, if it sits out over the Gulf, or it could develop a little bit further. So we'll have to see it at this point. And then that's not going to be our last threat. But first, let's touch on possible heavy rainfall here with these systems. So still dealing with what's left of Francine. And here is today's excessive rainfall map. And then as we go into tomorrow, we can see that spread eastward. So Atlanta, Birmingham, up into Nashville, getting up into southern Kentucky could be dealing with some flash flooding tomorrow. That's still kind of the story as we head into Saturday. And then Sunday, we start to see an area of excessive rainfall popping up in South Carolina and North Carolina. That's in anticipation of our next system that we're waiting to develop. And then this is going to be early next week, Monday into Tuesday. So a couple areas to watch for as far as flash flooding is concerned. And again, I don't think this is going to be our last threat here. So this is the European ensembles, and this is next weekend. So this is now September 21st. And I want to zoom in and look at all these areas of low pressure. So it's hinting that something is going to try to get going once again off the southeast coast. And then as we put this forward even into, let's go further. Here, let's stop that right here. So this is now the 24th. So there's a following week. And look at that, it's 985, 987 millibars. So there might be a couple more threats coming down. The weather pattern is staying the same. We have a huge ridge located in eastern North America. So anything that tries to pop underneath it is going to want to try to come into the coast. So things could get interesting. And of course, we can't ignore the Gulf or something else out in the Atlantic trying to threaten the eastern United States. We just don't have anything to watch at this point. It doesn't mean something can't pop up. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Switching gears a little bit, let's talk about temperatures. So here is the 2-meter temperature anomalies. This is for today. And we can see the below normal temperatures in the south associated with Francine and our unsettled weather. And then much of the northern part of the United States over the northeast dealing with above normal temperatures. As we head into next week, we see much of the same, southeast and south, trying to hang on to average, below average temperatures. And then turning cooler in the west as we're going to have a trough try to develop there. But still staying quite warm in the central part of the United States over into the Great Lakes and the Northeast. And then much of the same as we go into next weekend and into the following week. This is now September 22nd. And you can see all those above normal temperatures, well above normal temperatures. So don't put those shorts away yet. I know we all want to drink our pumpkin lattes and pumpkin ales. But you're going to have to hang on a little bit. Don't put those shorts away just yet. And in the west, you're going to try to warm up as we head towards the end of the month. But you can see we're just kind of stuck in this pattern at this point. This was to be expected. We did put a video out there going into September, talked about how we're going to be stuck in this much above normal temperature for most of the country, except the southern part of the United States and the southeast, and I think that's what we're seeing, although those places might try to turn warmer than normal as we head towards the end of the month. So where do we go from here? So at this point, I know everyone is looking forward to some cooler weather, so we want to break this pattern. So let's take a look. This is what we're looking at now, just so we can kind of compare it as we go forward and look for some changes. So this week, we're going to have a trough in the western part of the United States, bringing those below normal temperatures. And look at that huge ridge in eastern North America, those reds and purples. That is a big ridge, and you're not going to get any below normal temperatures in the northern part of the United States and into the northeast with that type of weather pattern. As we head into week 2, much of the same going to try to warm up in the west, but that ridge just stays in place in eastern North America. As we head into week 3, starts to pull back a little bit. And then I think as we head into week 4, so this is now the first week of October, that's when we start to see some changes. And I had been targeting mid-October when we might see this pattern start to break down and change. And the CFS here is hinting at just that. And as we go into the second week of October now, it looks like it wants to try to get a trough going in the eastern part of the United States. That ridge, still above normal heights, but we're not seeing those reds and purples. And as we head into week 6, continues to break down further. Might even see a ridge pop on the west coast, which mean above normal temperatures for you. But with this type of pattern where we actually might see some cooler than normal temperatures, at least seasonable temperatures, what you would expect for October, finally entering in a good part of the country. But we're going to have to see right now where those are kind of hints of pattern changes, but I have been targeting mid-October for that. So to see the models kind of come around to that, might have some promising things here. So hopefully we'll see these kind of changes continue to show up on the data, and we'll continue to put out videos updating it as well. For now, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and please hit that subscribe button. Thanks.